This video is going to be a track-by-track review analysis briefly of each song from I've Tried Everything but Therapy Part 2 from Teddy Swims. This is his second album. I did another video that was like a general overview of the tone of the album. I'll have a link for that in the description. I'll also have a link for the timestamps that go through kind of how this video will progress, talking about it a little bit and then each song. So at a high level, he's a soulful R&B, rock, country kind of singer. And I'll talk a little bit about each song and what I thought about it. In some cases, it'll be very brief. In some cases, I'll go a little bit more in depth. Track 1 is Not Your Man. This song had a rock kind of vibe to it. The best way to describe this song would be Adele's Rolling in the Deep, but like done by Maroon 5 in like a little bit of a rock manner. It was a good intro song. It kind of, got a good beat going to the music. It was more rock than soulful, where the rest of the songs had a lot more soulful vibe. Track 2 is Funeral. This song has a very strong vocal intro, and then there's a really cool like church organ type sound. Once the song gets going, what this song reminds me of the most is like the Black Keys' Tighten Up is a good way to describe the tone of this song. Track 3, You're Kind of Crazy. This song was the first R&B style song on the album. This had a 3/4 time signature, so like a 1 2 3 1 2 3, like a swing style to it. It gave me like Alicia Keys vibes a little bit. Also maybe a more upbeat version of To the End of the Road. Track 4 is Bad Dreams. This song had kind of like a lounge vibe, like a jazz lounge feel a little bit. But if you took like a Bruno Mars song, like if you took like Locked Out of Heaven or Treasure and you gave it a jazz lounge vibe, that's what this song sounded like. I thought it was cool. It was my favorite song so far up to this point on the album. Track 5 is Are You Even Real? Featuring Giveon. This is the first song to feature someone. There's a few more songs that feature someone else. This song sounded like a slower version of Eve's Let Me Blow Your Mind, featuring Gwen Stefani. There was kind of like a Thundercat wah kind of sound to it that was pretty cool. Giveon's voice is amazing. It sounded very much like the Tom's Diner cover. I don't know the guy who sings that, but there's a super famous, if you just YouTube search Tom's Diner, the first thing that comes up, I'm pretty sure, is the cover, not even the original. And the guy who sings the awesome deep part, that sounds very much like Giveon. Giveon, if he hasn't done it, he probably has. Maybe he has. I have no idea. He should do Tom's Diner. It will sound amazing. Track 6 is Black and White. This is featuring Muni Long. The song is in 3/4 as well, like a previous song was. So it has a little bit of that 1 2 3 1 2 3 kind of swing vibe to it. This is another very Boys to Men song. A few of the songs have a very Boys to Men vibe. This song also reminded me a little bit the melody of Crazy from Aerosmith. Track number 7 is Northern Lights. This is another one of my favorite tracks from the album. This may be my second or third favorite overall. There's a really beautiful sounding like orchestra and piano kind of in the beginning. This almost has a little bit of a country vibe to it. His voice is maybe one of my favorites. Like I said, maybe my second favorite of the whole thing, his voice in this song. It sounds a little bit like the Walking in Memphis song. Also, the Frey, You Found Me song. If you kind of mix those together is the best way to describe it. There's a very cool bridge. A lot of these songs are pretty straightforward in terms of the music. It's more of a canvas, so to speak, for his voice. The music isn't, I don't think, meant to really stand out. But this song, there's a bridge that had some really cool musical things in it. Track 8 is Guilty. This is another song that I enjoyed very much on the album. The intro sounds like a little bit of a slower guitar line, like a Belief from John Mayer. And then it gets a little more rockin'. There's a distorted guitar, like a real distorted guitar in this, which most songs don't have that. The bass line, when you listen to it, sounds a little bit like the Joker song from Steve Miller Band to me. And then there's a bridge and kind of a change of tune, a change of tone, so to speak. And it becomes more like a Bruno Mars, Silk Sonic, Gonna Leave the Door Open kind of vibe to it. Vocally, something about the melody and the lyrics remind me of that Baby I'm Amazed song from, I think it was Lone Star that did that. Maybe they were a cover, someone covered it. It's covered a bunch of times. But all those kind of mixed together. Track 9 is It Ain't Easy. This is also one of my favorites. There was kind of three in a row. Track 7, 8, and 9 were all three really good. And this was my last like favorite song. The rest of the songs were good, but none of them I liked more than this that are to come. So this had a more like modern indie rock feel. Think like Foster the People, maybe mixed with like that Circle song by Post Malone a little bit. There was this kind of cool part that was very brief in the bridge, but the voice had like a vocoder keyboard kind of sound to it. It wasn't long, it wasn't a major thing, it just happened for a second. But those things were different than some of the other songs. It made it stand out as something unique to me, and I liked it a lot. Track 10 is If You Ever Change Your Mind. This is pretty simple. It's a really short, beautiful kind of acoustic song. Sounds like it could be like an early, slow Beatles acoustic song. Track 11 is She Got It, featuring Coco Jones and GloRilla. This song is pretty much like an R&B song, more than a soul song. It has a beat that's similar to No Diggity from Blackstreet and Dr. Dre. The Coco Jones does a vocal kind of accompaniment in the singing with Teddy, and then there's like a little bit of like an aggressive, ominous tone to the music a little bit towards the end, and that's when it changes more like rapping. And GloRilla really just does like rap more so than singing. Track 12 is Hammer to the Heart. You don't hear a hammer at the beginning, but you hear what sounds like chains or some kind of like other metal things kind of hitting each other. One song to give this whole album a tone of what the album sounds like. This song is like the tone of most of the other songs in general. Or if I had to give, what he sounds like a general tone, it would be listen to this one song. This sounds very much like Adele mixed with the Black Keys. And if I had to choose a way to describe this album, it would be that. So it's very soulful and it's good, but it's at this point of hearing a lot of this, it became kind of one note, but on its own, it's a very, very good song. Track 13, the last track, is She Loves the Rain. This song is pretty simple. It has an acoustic guitar. It's kind of a little poppy. This could be maybe almost like an Ed Sheeran type song is how I would describe this. A good way to end the album.